All right, well, it's time for our daily business chat with Richard Southern. And Richard, let's start with Spotify. The company is trying to put out yet another fire.
Yeah, good to see you, Maliha. Indeed, for the second week in a row here, it is another controversy involving Joe Rogan, who Spotify signed for a reported $100 million. This is the controversial podcaster. Spotify is defending Rogan after a viral video on Friday showed Rogan using the N-word multiple times on his show. It was Grammy Award-winning singer India Arie that posted a compilation video of Rogan using that derogatory term several times in older episodes. Rogan released a statement on Saturday apologizing. In a memo to staff, Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, said, quote, "I do not believe that silencing Joe is the answer." Ek said that his company had conversations with Rogan about the racial insensitive language, as he put it, and that Rogan agreed to delete some older episodes of his show. It was, just the other week, Maliha, that Rogan was in hot water for having guests on that promoted inaccuracies about COVID vaccines. Neil Young and Joni Mitchell pulled their music down from the service as a result. Spotify shares, they were lower by 1.6% today amid all the growing controversy.
Not surprising, Richard. I feel like a lot of us have to take responsibility for who we're listening to and what we're watching, because sometimes it's really up to you.
And Rogan does too, arguably. If you have a microphone that big, you have to show some responsibility, I think.
100%. You're right. You're right. Now, Richard, airlines continue to make adjustments as they struggle for survival during the pandemic.
Yeah, they're still canceling a lot of flights. We just heard today from WestJet, who announced 20% of its March flights will be canceled. This followed similar cuts in the month of February, of course, due to uncertainty regarding the pandemic. Since November, WestJet has cut about 45% of all its trips. Air Canada has cut 41% of all its trips since November. Today, WestJet echoed demands that we heard recently from Air Canada and from Toronto Pearson Airport, that being for randomized testing for people arriving. Right now, you got to take a PCR test before you take off and when you land if you're traveling into Toronto from an international destination. WestJet says that's really hurting our business. We want that to change. Canada is the only G7 country, WestJet points out, to require pre-departure and on-arrival testing. WestJet's privately held right now, but Air Canada stock did move higher today, up 1.5%. It's tough going right now, isn't it, Maliha, for the airlines and indeed for the travelers too?
Richard, I'm actually kind of surprised because I feel like the weather is just so terrible right now that I would think people would want to escape. I mean, I know obviously the airport's not a fun place to be, but personally I'd be willing to go through it because I'm like, just a few days of sunshine and warmth to me is worth it. What about you?
It would be nice, but there's a lot of hassle and a lot of paperwork involved and a lot of tests involved. WestJet and Air Canada, they say they're seeing travelers make up their mind last minute now more than ever because of all of these rules, Maliha.
I'm hearing that from a lot of people as well, where they're really looking at those last minute deals and just seeing how they feel just a few days before.
100%.
Anyway, so support is growing for a potential 4-day work week here in Canada. Richard.
How sweet it would be, yes. The vast majority of people asked for a new CityNews poll by Mauro Public Opinion said they would be willing to work a longer work day for the same money if it meant working just 4 days a week. The poll found 79% would prefer a 4-day work week working 10 hours per day rather than the current 5-day work week working 8 hours per day. Women were more likely to opt for the 4-day work week, as were those making more than $100K a year, though it found support across all the demographics. Some countries are already dabbling in this, like Japan and New Zealand and Spain. Could we see it here is the question? Well, the Ontario Liberal Party has previously said that it would pilot a 4-day work week trial if it were to be elected in the June 2nd election. You never know, Maliha. We might get that 4-day work week eventually. Who knows?
Richard, I know we're coming to time, but would you want that, yes or no?
I think it would be good, and I think, we might see a lot of knock-on benefits. People might be healthier if they had less stress in a 3-day weekend. I think there's some good things to come out of it. Sign me up for it, Maliha.
Sign me up as well. Thank you so much, Richard. That's business editor Richard Southern.